Hello and welcome to yet another YouTube video here on this channel. In today's video we are actually going to dive into the best alternatives for this application right here. So for different reasons people might want to use something else than Notion. Even though I believe that Notion is a really good product, I also understand that people might have other preferences. And in today's video we are actually going to go over some of the alternatives that are out there. And we are going to talk about a few. I actually have three or four, I think. Uh, 3 or 4 different alternatives. I actually have 4 different alternatives, and this video was supposed to be a little different, but one application on this list actually added some new features that ended up becoming like probably, in my opinion, the best alternative, but more on that later. Let's jump into the first one. You might have heard of this one before. This is open source, local first. It is appflowy. Has some of the same structure like this. All of this feels really familiar if you have been a Notion user. And one of the main points about Notion and applications that rival Notion is the fact that you have these databases right here. This is still in an early stage, so this is version 0.75, I think I'm on now. At least that's the version they have released. That is the latest version, and it has a few features. The main one is these databases right here. That you can see. So we have create new grid, reference grid, create new board or reference board. These are like your databases, and referenced databases are linked databases in Notion, so you can have the same database live across multiple different pages. You can quite easily add pages, either documents, grid, board, calendar. You can import, or you can have AI chat. The AI is an add-on that you have to pay for. I really like the idea of this application. I've always been a big fan of open source applications in general, so I really like this. There are quite a few formatting options, like the application feels really good, but it isn't at the level of Notion yet. But if you are looking for something that is offline first, open source, and is not necessarily as technical and hard to learn as some of the other options, this one is a great one, and it also comes with a great free plan. So let's go over the pricing. So you have a free plan that will give you one collaborative workspace up to 2 members, unlimited pages, 5 GB of storage, intelligent search, 20 AI responses, mobile app, and real-time collaboration. And one of the reasons why it says mobile app is because many of these applications do not actually, in an early stage, give the mobile app out to the free members. While it also has a pro plan, which gives you up to 10 workspace members, unlimited storage, unlimited AI responses, unlimited file uploads, and custom namespace. So that is basically what you are getting with appflowy. As I said, it is open source. It works without a connection, and it has many of the things you would like from an application like this. So if you are looking for an open source alternative to Notion, this might be the best one for you. Next up on the list, we have an application I've talked about many times before, so I will try to go over it quickly. This is Anytype, and Anytype is also open source. It is local first, and it is decentralized. But the issue with Anytype that I think a lot of people have, which is also the great thing about Anytype, it all depends on what you need, is these objects, because objects are they are things, and for a lot of people that makes sense. For a few it doesn't at all. But basically, like, a social media post isn't just a film, an Anytype video. It is actually a social media post. Napkin, for example, is an app. Milnote is an app, and all of these templates revolve around these different object types. For a lot of people that makes sense. For some it does not. When it comes to other like cool features, it has a really beautiful graph view that you can see right here. can zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little better, but it has a great graph view. It has databases as well. So we have databases like this. You can add a bunch of different properties, and you can also add how something is related to another thing, because properties inside of this application is called relations. It sounds if it sounds hard to learn, it probably is because it is a little hard to learn. I had to spend a lot of time before I actually understood how this application works, but once I understood it, it was worth the time I spent. You also have the cool added benefit of having a graph view inside of your databases, which is perfect for something like a Zettelkasten system. So if you have a bit more time and you're looking for something really, really powerful, this might be your best choice. Again, it is at an early stage. This is still a beta product, so they will need to develop the application a lot more. I'm always on a pre-release version, so I often have more bugs than people otherwise would have. But in applications both like this but also appflowy, things like bugs are expected, so that is just something to keep in mind. But this is a great choice because of the databases, which are both collections and sets. So collections are your basic databases. Think of these as files, or actually folders to have files inside of. So these are your files, and this is your folder, while sets are actually a search query based on one object type. Again, if none of this makes sense, but you still want to try out Anytype, I think it is worth a shot, and I have a lot of videos on my channel if you are looking for some resources to try and learn the application. When it comes to pricing, we have a free plan here, which gives you 1 gig of network space, 3 shared spaces, and 3 members per shared space, because in Anytype, having the ability to collaborate on things is actually really, really important. So that is the free plan. And for most people, if you just are taking notes by yourself, the free plan is everything you need. But they also have a builder plan, which gives you a global unique name from 7 plus characters, 128 gigabytes of network space, 3 shared spaces, 10 editors per shared space, unlimited viewers, and priority support. They also have the co-creator plan. The major differences is that this is $299 for 3 years, and this gives you 256 gigs of network space, while this is 99 per year and only gives you 128. So this is a great option if you are willing to take the time to learn object-based note-taking. So I said that there was one application that made it on the list that I didn't actually plan to have in this video, and that is Craft. Craft just released their new collections, and Craft 3.0. There was over 100 new features, but the major one was collections, the ability to have collections right within here with a lot of different fields. So I have everything from text to even a relation, so I can relate things together. Craft is a documents application, and the main selling point of something like Craft is the fact that it is a really beautiful application. So if I just jump into my resources here, it is a really beautiful application. It is quite easy to learn because it is just a way for you to take notes inside of a document, but it offers a lot of styling option, which is why it is so popular. My internet is so slow right now, so let's actually just check out my tasks instead. So here I have some of my tasks, because task management is also something they've recently added. And just the main point of this application is how beautifully designed it is, and how you can make everything look really, really beautiful inside of an application like this. So it is it is accessible offline if you use the applications. I am currently using the web version, which explains why I have some issues with getting my getting my different pages to show up. But basically, the main thing they've recently added are these databases. Let's actually go into my blog one, and let's go into done and just show one of these. And I can then press style and I can edit the style of this. So I could turn this into this market walks and apply the style, and you can see that everything changes, and I can play around with this. You can also change things like the font right here, and there are a bunch of different options. So this has a really big emphasis on the style aspect of this and actually styling things and making things look as beautiful as possible. And that is why I really like this application. When it comes to pricing, this application costs you either 8 or 10 USD, but as of right now, they are running 50% off for Black Friday, which is the pricing I actually bought this for, and that is for life, so you will get that pricing for lifetime. So I went for it, and it was $4 or $5 each month, depending on whether or not you pay yearly or monthly. And I went for yearly, which is $4 each month, which is basically a steal for an application like this. Next up, we have Coda, and I always talk about Coda as more a powerful notion. I've struggled to figure out how this application works because it takes a while to understand it, but it is probably the most powerful application on this list. It is doing a bunch of things with AI, but that is not what we are going to focus on. It also has meeting notes and templates like tasks, meeting notes, two-way write-up. I actually don't know what that is, but it has bunch of options. You can even add pages and subpages here, page embed, sync page. So a lot of different ones. You have the formula property, which is something I know a lot of people like for automations inside of databases. I use it a lot in Monday, for example. So that is probably the thing this is the best at, is actually the formulas and automations using formulas. I would just say that it is a really powerful application. So um, that is how I would explain it. It is just a really, really powerful application with databases here, as you can see. So this is a database that has turned into a Kanban board. I can drag things back and forward. I can choose what they're grouped on. The amount of customization inside of databases here is wild, and that is why people seem to like it a lot. So let's try and add a grid here as well. This is just a basic like table, what you would see inside of Excel, but you can also press table and then you actually get the databases. Let's do stages here. And this is just a pre-populated one, but as you can see here, you have the stage, here you have the definition. You can add new properties, and you can see that there are quite a few properties, even an AI property here that you can add. You can add things like modified on, created by, created on. You can add buttons, relations, reactions. It is what I probably call the would call the more powerful Notion, but with that comes also a steeper learning curve than Notion, so you have to spend a bit of time actually using and understanding the application to figure out how this actually works and whether or not uh, you are able to actually get everything you want out of it. And there is also like things like, for example, if you write a table and you press grid, you actually get a table, which I showed you earlier. But if you write table, you actually get a database, things like that. Uh, Learning new applications like this takes a bit of time, and that is just something to keep in mind, but it is a stable, really good application with great templates as well, so you can get started with those. When it comes to pricing, this also feels really weird, but if you are one person that is just going to use this application by yourself, then the free plan will get you where you want to go, because you get unlimited doc size for unshared docs. You can create collaborative docs as well, but they also have a pro plan, which gives you uh, it is $10 per month per doc maker, and that is where the confusion comes in, because people who can create docs are doc makers. That is the simplest way of putting it, but most people will actually get away with this, and if you just customize your system a little bit, you won't even need to be here, unless you need like hidden pages or 30-day version history, or the AI, for example, having some AI credits would be great. So that is the pricing plan of this. It also has team plans, and it is more tailored toward teams, but this can definitely be used as a single person just to manage your productivity. Another great object-based option is actually capacities. Capacities has been around for a couple of years now. I think it's 2 or 3 years. It has at least been really hyped up for around 2 years now, and with good reason. This is also an object-based note-taking app, so these are all objects, and the databases here revolves around these objects. I can add more properties here, like a cover image, a number, checkbox, multi-select, single select, blocks, text. There are a bunch I can add. And as you can see, all of these can be turned into different databases here. So I can quickly turn them into different databases if I ever need to. So quickly just pressing the object and clicking a grid, a gallery, a table, or a list view, depending on what you need. What this application has is also daily notes, which is a great place for you to capture different ideas, or you could even do things like journaling inside of here. The only other application on this list that has daily notes is actually a craft, and it is something that a lot of people like. This application is also working towards becoming offline first, so it has taken some major steps towards becoming an offline first application. And it is a great choice if you are looking for an object-based note-taking app and you don't want an outliner like Tana, for example, which we will touch on later, or something like Anytype that isn't as beautiful looking. This looks a lot better than Tana, than Anytype, sorry. And for most people I've talked to, this feels easier to learn. When it comes to pricing, this has regional pricing, so I can't say it like completely perfectly, but around $10 each month, billed yearly for Capacities Pro, around 13, probably 12.50 would probably be the right one for Capacities Believer, that is USD for the yearly plan. Monthly, this is 12.50, around 12.50. This is around 15.50. Probably a little less, I would say 14.50. Around that. It is really hard to say exactly. But with this, you are getting unlimited media uploads, formulas for tables, curated icon sets, additional extensions, raycast web highlights, and calendar integration is planned. With this, you actually are just paying extra to support the team, and you also get access to major new features, beta access to major new features. That covers it for capacities, which is a great note-taking and productivity application and a great Notion alternative. So we have one more. If you're looking for an outliner application with databases and AI, then Tana might actually be the one for you. This is also at a really early stage, and it is also object-based, just like Anytype. But basically the way this works is that you create something called super tags. So let me just add a test one and then turn this into a to-do. And then I can press enter and I can do backslash search node right here, which searches through my nodes. Let's try one more time. Search node and let's search for to do like this. It will show me all of my to-dos. I had a small internet issue, which is why people prefer applications that have an offline mode, which this does not have. So this is basically how you create these databases, and these databases can actually be viewed as tables or even as something like a Kanban board or a card. So I can add cards to this, or I can look at it as a calendar here as well. So you have a bunch of different options. The basic idea here is that you capture something quite quickly like this, and you add a tag to it, and then it is organized. So that is where this application shines. It is also an outliner, which means that you can jump into those bullet points and you can write more bullet points and you can go on like that infinitely. It has a pricing plan which gives you a lot of AI. So if we take a look at the pricing here, this application will cost you $15 or $18 each month, so it is quite expensive. But with that, you are getting things like a meeting assistant that helps you transcribe your meetings. You are getting things like live transcription, voice recordings, audio-enabled super tags, AI agents, and you are also getting AI chat with your notes. So you are getting a bunch of things. And how I have described it is that it is pricey, but it is worth it. The only like huge issue I have with this is that there is no mobile application yet, but I'm hoping that it will come soon. However, I have been hoping for that for a while now. But that covers all of the different options for a Notion alternative. If you have any more, please do leave them down below and I will try to get to them as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching today's video.